Hello everyone, here we are in the classroom again, and today we are talking about natural environment. You probably remember that we spoke about natural environment last year when we spoke about natural disasters, and some vocabulary, actually a lot of vocabulary is already familiar to you. Now we are going to check and revise some of the words connected to saving natural environment and environment in general. Before we start reading the lesson, we will check these words, and our task is to put them into groups, land or water. The first one is already done, and it says that bay goes to group water. Then we have cliff. We all know that it's a part of a hill or mountain, and it goes to land. After that we have dam, and we will put it under water. Float, of course, goes to water. Foothills, land. Fossil fuels, yes, land. Glacier, it can be both land and water. Why? Because we find it on some mountains or hills, and it's full with water and ice. Drought, it can be both. Land can be without water, so we can put it in both groups. Then we have flood. It's too much water on some place, so we can put it both under water and land, of course. Melt, if something melts, it's, for example, ice, and it goes under water. Pond, of course, water, and stream, water. Now we will go to a lesson. We will read the text. But before we do it, we will do exercise number 3 in your books, page 111. And we have 5 sentences that are supposed to be filled with the offered words. Now we are just guessing. Ocean's color of the Earth's surface. The offered answers are 61% or 71%. Let's put 61%. It won't work. Yes, it will. The deepest point of the Pacific Ocean is below the surface. What shall we put? For example, 11 kilometers. Then sea levels have risen over the last 100 years. Let's see. 10 to 25 or 5 to 10 centimeters. Let's say 10 to 25. Plastic waste in the oceans, what do we have here? Remains or disappears? It definitely remains. Plastic pollution kills at least 1 million what every year? Seabirds or marine mammals? We are talking about ocean, it will be marine mammals. Now we will check the answers, and oh my god, we have 2 mistakes. So ocean covers 71%, not 61%, and plastic pollution kills at least 1 million, not marine mammals, but sea birds. Okay, now we are going to read a text about a teenager named Bojan Slat, who has a mission to save planet, let's say, to save environment, actually to save oceans. And he has a plan how to do it better than people are used to. It says, can a teenage environmentalist clean up our oceans? Bojan Slat is a young Dutchman with a mission to save the oceans from the consequences of our throwaway society. The facts. Oceans cover 71% of the Earth's surface. From the fresh water of the polar ice caps to the seabed, 11 kilometers below the surface of the deepest point of the Pacific Ocean, the ocean home to over half of living species. Over the past 100 years, due to global warming, the sea level has risen 10 to 25 centimeters. The problem: the oceans are being used as rubbish tips. 33% of toxic contaminants in oceans come from air pollution, such as acid rain and debris blown from landfills. Other pollutants are sewage, industrial waste, and pollution from oil fields and ships. The plastic debris concentrates in 5 rotating currents like real pools called gyres. The largest gyre, called the Pacific Garbage Patch, is twice the size of France and is located between Hawaii and California. At least 1 million seabirds and 100,000 marine mammals die each year due to plastic pollution. When plastic breaks up into smaller particles, it becomes a hazard for marine wildlife. Seabirds, whales, turtles, and other sea creatures regularly consume waste products which can be easily mistaken for jellyfish or other prey, but cannot be degraded in the stomach. The animals die from starvation because they are not getting the nutrients they need. Plastics also slowly release toxins and other chemical substances that work their way up the marine food chain. A solution. At the age of 19, Boyan Slat invented a device that he claims could clean up to 20 billion tons of plastic waste from the world's oceans. Unlike conventional methods of cleaning up plastic using ships and nets, Boyan Slat's ocean cleanup concept is based on a simple idea. With its waves, tides, and currents, the ocean never stops moving. So, instead of going after the plastics, as most traditional methods do, you could simply wait for the plastic to come to you. A floating barrier, 100 kilometers inland, would catch the debris, enabling a platform to extract it afterwards. The ocean current would pass underneath the barriers, taking all sea life with it. Boyan Slat believes that his innovation could clean up half of the Pacific Garbage Patch over a period of 10 years and would make up to $500 million a year from recycling the waste collected. Okay, as you can see, we skipped exercise number 5. That is something that you will do at home. And now I will show you some more questions that are about pollution. I've already mentioned natural disasters, but this one is not a natural disaster. You agree? And here are some, let's say, topics or questions for discussion. For example, how much plastic does your family throw away in a typical week? We will agree that majority of us throw away a lot of plastic. Number 2, do you know what happens to your plastic waste and where does it go? Think about this. What could you do to cut down on your use of plastic? That is something that is mentioned a lot these days. You can see that some supermarkets, shops, etc. Are, let's say, leaving plastic bags and they are moving to paper. Okay, now we are going to go through the vocabulary from this text, from this lesson, and as we are all used to, we will do it through word store exercises. Okay? So, the first one says complete word store 8a with the base form of the words in red in the article. You all saw some words in red in the article, and we are now supposed to complete these sentences with those words. The first one is already done. It says a strong movement of water or air in one direction. That's a current. Now, number 2 says the essential chemicals in food that helps animal live and grow. It will be which one? Those are nutrients. Then number 3, an animal that is hunted and eaten by another animal. It's a prey, of course. A group of living things that all have the same features. It's species. The regular movement of the sea towards and away from the land. It's a tide, and water that turns around and around, pulling things toward it. It's a real pull. The next exercise says complete the sentences with words from word store 8a. And most of living what live in the ocean. Those are species. Coastal regions usually have a high, twice a day, a high tide. Jellyfish are typical for seabirds. They are typical prey. Plastic doesn't contain any nutrients to help wildlife. The movement of rubbish in the gyres is dependent on strong what? On strong currents, and gyres are like huge what of plastic rubbish, like huge, real pulls. In this exercise we have a sort of crossword, and the first one question, let's say, is done. It says rain that contains a high concentration of pollutants is acid rain. Now, number 2, a general word for human waste, for waste that humans make, is, of course, sewage. Okay, number 3, place where unwanted rubbish is dumped is rubbish, actually places, tips. We have plural form here. Number 4, material you get rid of when it has been through the factory process. That's industrial waste. Okay, number 5, a general word for substances that pollute or poison. Contaminants. Okay, and number 6, things that can be dangerous or cause damage are hazard, right? Okay, so the hidden word is debris. Okay, the next one says complete the compound nouns in word store 8c with the underlined words in the article. So, compound nouns, we know 2 or more words making one noun, giving the meaning of one noun. The first one is done, it says food chain, and you will remember that with eyes goes caps. Actually, in this situation we have a singular form, ice cap. Then, number 3, land, fill. Number 4, we have oil field. And number 5, sea level. Okay. And the next one says in pairs complete the list of environmental problems with these compound nouns. The compound nouns given are food chain, landfills, sea levels, ice caps, and oil fields. Melting, what can be melted from this group? Definitely ice caps. What can rise? Of course, it's sea level. Chemical and toxins in the, where can we find it? Or them in the food chain. more non-biodegradable waste, and so more landfills, and the last one, onshore and offshore oil fields. That is about this. That was all about this exercise. And the next one says complete word store 8D with more compound nouns. We have words shore, well, and slide and berg given. Food poisoning, and the explanation says my mom, or actually an example, my mom got food poisoning on her last business trip. She was really ill. Which one can we use with ice? It's iceberg, then land, slide, oil, well, and sea shore. Maybe you can practice these words by making your own examples of sentences with them. This would be all for this lesson about this text and natural environment. We mentioned some of the problems and some of the solutions, some ideas. Bojan Slat's great idea to save the planet, to save the environment, to save oceans. It would be good for you to remember some of these things and to think about some other ways of saving the planet, or saving, in this case, saving oceans. The homework for you is to do the first exercise the way you would try to explain in a phrase or sentence or few sentences the words given here. The next one is exercise number 5. It's a classical one. Just try to answer the given questions, and you will have one more thing to write about, in your opinion, the major problem or problems in saving the environment. You should write from 100 to 140 words, and think about the ways of writing an essay. It should actually be a short essay about saving the environment and problems we reach doing it. Of course, you should pay attention to essay structure rules, and you can use semi-formal language. When you finish your homework, mail your teachers. Please. Thank you. Bye.